What's up guys and girls, welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about if Kratos actually told Atreus everything about his past. There are some hints in lore and legends that talk about this. But before we continue, I want to say thank you so much to Brian for the $50 donation. I decided that anybody who donates to the channel, in the next video, I will be posting your comment. Thank you so much. If you want to donate, it's right below this video. It's like super something. I really do appreciate it. Here are the answers to the previous God of War video trivia question. A lot of people actually got this one wrong, so yeah, I'm gonna start giving the answers in the next video. But yes, the answer was Ares. This video's trivia question is: there were 3 people who helped create Baldur's Curse. What were the names of these 3 people? Type your answers now, and if you get it right, you have a chance on being in tomorrow's video. So Kratos at the beginning of God of War 2018 is a completely different person at the end of God of War 2018. Before, he was very distant with Atreus, and now he was very close, which is perfect storytelling in my opinion. But during the ending scene, Kratos said he has nothing left to hide. Us, the audience, thought to ourselves, although this was a beautiful moment, when it came time for our 50th playthrough, we realized that yes, Kratos still has a lot to hide and a lot he hasn't said, like him destroying his own family and a bunch of innocent people, etc, etc. But we might have gotten a huge hint in lore and legends, along with other things that show that Kratos might have actually told Atreus everything. This comes from lore and legends right before the timeline begins. When Atreus was trying to fill in the timeline blanks, he went to Kratos and Mimir to fill those in, and this is what he had to say in the book. Father helped a bit too. He's tried to remember his life since arriving here from his old home, a place he rarely talks about. He doesn't hide things when I ask anymore, but I can see it hurts when I do. And when he tells me things about living with mother before I was born, he stares so sadly at the fire that I usually just let him fall into silence. Atreus straight up says that Kratos tells him about his past, but Kratos is very reluctant to. He doesn't hide things like he used to. Instead, he actually talks about everything that he's been through, what he can remember anyways. Also, there is a very closeness with Kratos and Atreus now that didn't exist in the previous game. Even though we did see them arguing in the God of War Ragnarok trailer, in the book it really shows how their bond really grew over time. On page 7 we see a lot of this. Kratos starts to tell stories about him and Faye living together, as I just read. Atreus says Kratos has very caring eyes now. Doesn't call him boy anymore. Kratos is constantly complimenting Atreus on his agility and his timing. Atreus then says it's as much as his story as it is Kratos' story, that Kratos is a part of his story, and I think that this relationship that grew after God of War 2018 going into Fimbulwinter is really special, and it's really nice that Kratos has a companion. But this again brings up the question, how much of Kratos' past did he tell Atreus? Like I just read to you, Kratos is still very sad or very reluctant to talk about his past and things he's been through, even reluctant to talk about Faye in some ways. But how cool would it be if this information in the book is actually somewhat shown in the next game, right? These 2 passages I wanted to read to you specifically, Kratos telling stories about Faye but very sad when he does, and telling stories about his old home. I think that this would be so cool because this can really take the place of Mimir's stories in God of War 2018. In God of War 2018, Mimir talked about the world, certain characters and creatures and storylines between everybody, which is awesome to actually hear. Mimir is probably the game's most beloved character by the fans outside of Kratos. But having Kratos finally open up more, instead of the cryptic stories he gave about his past, like the Taurus story that he gave in God of War 2018, I think that would be cool if he directly talks about the past, right? What if Kratos talks about Zeus, Atreus knows about Zeus, right? He's seen Zeus, but doesn't know that story. What if Kratos tells us that story, and he tells these stories in the context of he wants Atreus to grow and to learn from his mistakes and the things that he's done and the gods that he killed and the deal that he made with Ares, pretty much sacrificing his soul, becoming a slave after all this time. Again, he did kind of tell this story, but he did it in a very cryptic way in God of War 2018. So Kratos being more direct with his experiences with Faye, we do know how they met. I put a video up on this channel. I'll link it at the end if you want to see it. But the timeline between Kratos coming to Midgard and meeting Faye and Atreus being born is about 40 years. Kratos and Faye have spent 4 decades with one another, and I think that's really fucking cool. I believe it's 4 decades. It can be like 35 or 30 to 40 years together. That's a lot of stories that Kratos can actually tell. I think concerning his past that Kratos did tell Atreus some things, and as God of War Ragnarok progresses, he'll get more and more open with his stories. He is very sad, he doesn't hide these stories, but I think over time talking about it will make him a bit more comfortable, which is really weird to say because this is Kratos, right? But again, Kratos is a different person from the Greek games. He's a different person from the start of God of War 2018, and he's a completely different person now in God of War Ragnarok from all his previous iterations. And I think that it's pretty cool if we get to hear Kratos' point of view. Imagine he brings up the Sisters of Fate. Imagine he brings up Persephone, Atlas. All of these characters that we know and love from the past are gonna come back in some way, just Kratos telling these stories. But before I get out of here, because that's pretty much all I have to say about this topic, I want to talk to you all about theories for a second. I want to make more theories that's outside of the books, right? For the past year or so, on this channel, I've gone into official lore or official novelizations, and I made theories out of that. But I want to go back into my old style of making theories. I know it's kind of making stuff up. What I used to do is that, like, I used to take bits and pieces of the lore, put it together, and make a crazy fucking video. And I think a lot of people are missing that, but I'm worried that people might take that the wrong way. I don't know. Let me know if you would like to see my old style of theory making. Other content creators still do it. I'm like the only big one that doesn't, so I'm really interested in it. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section down below. I'm gonna be out of here. Thank you guys and girls for listening. Deuces.
Wow, that was something, that fight. Here, catch. Well, that was a waste of a perfectly good hour.
How were you not seen? There is nowhere here to hide.
Oh, that.